Alright, so my homie Sam suggested I do like a sit-down podcast sort of deal, and I don't really feel like having my camera on right now, so I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna talk about, but he suggested pretty much that I find topics and talk about them, and really the only thing I can think of to really talk about, which there may only be a few ideas, but I know I definitely could sit here and talk about whatever the hell the ideas may be for a pretty long time. So, kind of a good thing, I guess. But no, so I guess today I'm just gonna sit here and just talk about kind of how I've been, what I've been up to, some life changes, and you know, my very typically fashioned life update, pretty much, where I just sit here, ramble, talk about what's new with me, any changes that have happened, anything like that, and just, I don't know, you know, I have a lot of time to think at work, so you know, I definitely think about a lot of shit throughout the day. There's no denying that whatsoever. It's just mostly a lot of personal stuff that me personally, I don't really feel the need to share, but at the same time, like, I can vaguely talk about it and not have to go too in depth with my life at the same time. But you know, I don't know, just I feel like it's kind of a healthy thing to just talk about, you know, whatever may be on your mind. A lot of people like to hold that shit in, and I feel like that's why I think so damn much, is because there's always something on my mind, and it's not necessarily that I feel like I don't have people to talk to as much as it is I kind of do just keep to myself unless it's something like major that I really genuinely, like, wholeheartedly feel like I need to get off my chest. And as of late, can't really say that there's too much that's been weighing on me, other than, you know, just recent events in my life that were shocking more than anything. They just, you know, it's shit that you never expect to happens, and you know, there's honestly nothing you can do about it other than, you know, try and move on and find happiness elsewhere, I guess, so to speak. I've taken probably about 4 shots, so if this kind of seems all over the place, I'm not like drunk, a little tipsy, probably gonna take a shot during this, so cheers to anyone if you're watching this late at night. Hopefully you're not fucking drinking at like 2 in the afternoon or whatever, but it's neither here nor there. You guys live your own lives. But yeah, so pretty much, I don't even know where to start. I guess with work, I don't think I've uploaded a video since that first one I made about me getting my new job and trying out CBD and, you know, everything else. I guess I can just kind of talk about that and just some things I figured out, you know, over the last however long it's been since I last uploaded, because I'm fairly certain that the last time I did make a video or did sit down and just kind of talk about things, it had to have been a couple months ago, like when I first started my job. And just a lot really has changed. My life is, I don't want to say completely different, but it is different in a lot of different aspects. So I guess the first thing I can talk about is work. It's fairly vague. I really don't have too much to say on it. A job's a job at the end of the day. You know, we either wake up at 6, 5, you know, whatever time we have to be up, we go to work and we come home. The job's fine. It's been really hot in Michigan the last couple of days, so it definitely has kind of been, I don't want to say taking a toll on me, but it definitely does fucking suck. There's no other gentle way of putting it. It's been a rough last few days, and honestly last few weeks at work. and not just work, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So work, just we're starting to work a lot longer hours. I know that there's some people out there probably won't listen to this, but I know that there's definitely some people out there that just they work 7/12s. They work an 84-hour week every single week. And hats off to you, man, because that is unthinkable to me. Like, that's just unimaginable. I could not, at this very moment in my life, I don't have anything to where that I have to pay for that is, uncomfortably out of my range. Making more money is always nice. There's no question about that. But where I'm at currently financially, I'm very happy with. Because I know a lot of people that I graduated with that are either in college or, and there's nothing wrong with college. I don't want to make it sound like that at all, but a lot of these people kind of just jumped from high school and, went into college just blindly, and they probably hate whatever they're, going to school for right now. They felt like the pressure was there, so they kind of, I feel like they just kind of felt like, maybe this is the next step in my life. I just need to get more schooling, which, again, is never a bad thing if you really have it planned out. But, a lot of them aren't making money. A lot of them aren't trying to build a career or, do anything like that. They're still working, a minimum wage job, which there's nothing wrong with, even being 19. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm very fortunate for the job and the position that I have right now. It's just, I feel like a lot of people that I went to school with and everything are just complacent with where they are, and they're not really trying to better themselves, whereas it may have taken me a while, and it took a stupid amount of time for me to just kind of fully embrace and realize like what needed to be done in my life. And it's always a personal reflect on, and I definitely had motivation with some of the events that happened in my life, and I kind of realized that I'm not doing this for anyone else but myself, which is something that we all need to take into consideration, because at the end of the day, everything we do is for ourselves. We can be selfless and do it for other people, but in the end, it should still benefit us. Everyone leads their own lives, and I feel like it's good to be selfless and good to do things for other people, but you need to focus on yourself first. You should never be putting other people before yourself. And I know that sounds weird when I say it's good to be selfless, but what I mean by that is if you are not set up to where you are content and happy, and a lot of people will settle for a lot less than what they should, but if you're happy, you're happy. At the end of the day, like I said, there's people working a 9-to-5 job, but if they're happy, a minimum wage 9-to-5 job, I should say, because I pretty much work a 9-to-5. But if they're happy, they're happy. I just feel like people need to take that extra step and go and do the harder work that does pay more. But back to my original point. So work, I went from working 8 hours every day to having a 12 or 11 or 12 hour shift every now and again, like 2 days a week out of the 5 that I work. And I have to be at work by 7, and I now am there until pretty much 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. every single day. And that's kind of what I mean by it's been just kind of beating me down. I haven't even done the hardest function at my job yet, but I'll tell you right now, with this heat and everything, it's been definitely taking a toll on me. It frazzles my mind quite a bit. I can't even lie to you about that. It definitely does kind of make my head swoon when I work 3 days, well, with this week, 3 days in a row of overtime, and all 3 days it was 90 plus degrees. It gets to you, man. And if you don't work in heat like that, if you work in an air-conditioned place when it's hot out, you're in a very fortunate position. Working in a factory or warehouse setting where you work in a department that they cannot have AC kicking because a lot of there's stuff that needs to stay warm or whatever it may be. There's just no AC in my department. I work in a grocery department for a large company in the Midwest, and I work in the warehouse, and it gets blistering hot in there. And you know, I don't know, man. I'm kind of speechless about it. Like I said, it's been frazzling my brain. Like it completely just shakes your brain, and it's weird. Like, so you have to think. I don't have much job experience. Well, hardly any job experience. I worked at a fast food place. Sorry, cracking my neck. Working at a fast food place that many of you have probably heard of, and it's Sonic, the drive-in place or whatever. I worked there for 4 months, but out of those 4 months, I pretty much worked maybe a month's time if I was really working. But they never wanted to schedule me, so I can't even call that work experience. Like, this is my first real legit job. And you know, if I ever complain about it, you know, just know that I am super fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. You know, and I really don't take it for granted. It's just, again, the hours are so damn long, and you know, a lot of people are like, yeah, you know, people do this, blah blah. I get that, and you know, I'm not trying to say that what they do is any less, what I do is any more. Like, even if it is, it's besides the point. Like, just put it this way, work, as you know, great and fortunate of an opportunity as it is, and you know, the fact that I'm excited to have the position that I do in the, well, I can't say in the company because it makes it sound like I'm a manager, but you know, just being a warehouse clerk, that's my job title. I'm a floor worker, and I make $13.89 an hour. You know, I'm not scared to talk finances. Make $13.89 an hour, which is almost $21 an hour when I work over. God, my throat is getting dry. So pretty much what that means is that on a given week, if I work 4 days, or you know, 4 or 5 days worth of, I'm bringing home over like 550 to 600 plus a week, which for a 19-year-old kid, that's fucking great. Like, that is, those are some pretty astounding numbers for a 19-year-old. And I get that people are better off. You know, don't be that guy or girl in the comments that's like, oh, well, so-and-so does this and they're only, you know, I get it. You know, I'm talking from a personal perspective. I am proud of myself to be making that type of money when I go from never having money to having a lot more money than I've ever had. But yeah, that's pretty much the wrap up on me talking about work. I don't want to bore you guys. There's definitely their highlights, there's their lows. You know, it's highs and lows with everything in life, and it's pretty much all I have to say about work. Now, this topic, as much as I'd like to take a deep dive into, I'm not. There's so much that I could say about it, but I just really don't feel like vocalizing and, you know, talking about this stuff really. You know, not too in depth. And if you're one of my friends, you've heard it probably a million times already. You know, me talking about my breakup and everything. But yeah, so a little over roughly a month and a half ago, me and my girlfriend of a year and a half split. And you know, I'll go into it a little bit, but I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna go into major details about it as much as I'm sure a lot of you would love to hear, you know, every minute little detail of it. It's, you know, it's not only my personal business, but there's just not a whole lot that needs to really be said. So pretty much, you know, I felt like everything was going fine. You know, I didn't really see too much going wrong then. You know, looking back on it, I definitely noticed some things that I should have taken note of a lot sooner. And I didn't. You know, when you're that in love with a person and, you know, you just care about them so much and you don't think anything negative of them, no matter how many flaws they have, you really don't. You kind of just tend to misread or just kind of push off to the side anything that you may find suspicious. And you know, I found some things on her phone, and it made me super suspicious. I questioned her about it, and 2 weeks later, you know, she wants to break up with me, bringing up all this bullshit and throwing up, you know, a whole bunch of just what seemed more like excuses than anything, and just taking them and throwing them up in my face, and you know, just making me sound like I'm the biggest piece of, or making me sound like I'm the biggest piece of shit in the world and everything. When, you know, come to find out a couple weeks later, she's sleeping around and, you know, doing all this just fucked up shit that if you really cared about the person after a year and a half, you just, you know, you don't do. And it kind of just made me realize, like, I guess she really never felt as strongly as I did about her. You know, just towards the end, she wasn't excited to see me that much anymore, and I could definitely tell in like her demeanor and everything that she was not at all as excited as I was to see her every day. You know, she was making excuses to leave early, like she'd only stay for like 2 hours or so, and I get that a lot of people are fortunate, you know, if they even get to see their significant other for that long. But in my case, since we'd started dating, she'd spend, you know, like 4 to 6 hours at my house every single day. And you know, I felt we always had a great relationship, and then at the end, it really took a fucking downward spiral turn. And you know, until I found out all the shit that she'd been up to and, you know, everything else, I was more depressed than I've been in a long time, since my best friend died almost 2 years ago. You know, that was the big loss that I'd suffered up until that point, and it really fucking it caught me so off guard. I've never been a super unhappy person, and you know, I still have my days now, but over this last like month and a half, I can tell I've been healing more and more every single day. And you know, it really is just a process that you have to go through at some point in your life to kind of just realize what you're worth. And I know that sounds weird, like, you know, you should already know what you're worth, whatever, but a lot of people really don't take time to sit back and truly reflect on that. You know, they kind of just are really dismissive of the fact that you know, and it's something that I'm still trying to fully wrap my head around and like truly embrace, and not, you know, just say it but actually live by it. And I feel like a lot of people need to do it as well, and that's just kind of take a step back and realize, like, you know, no matter how many people hit you up, no matter how many girls or guys do or don't talk to you, you know, we're no better than anyone else. You know, and making that statement, I can be, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I can be very hypocritical to that. I say that, you know, no one is better than anyone else, but at the end of the day, there's always better people than someone else. We just shouldn't really dwell on that. You know, no matter how shitty of a person they are, you know, we're all people at the end of the day, and a lot of us, you know, we all make mistakes. You know, some of us more than others, but at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. But you know, back to my point, I feel like a lot of people think that just because they don't have 30 people hitting them up, and you know, I definitely have my periods of loneliness now. You know, after being with someone for a year and a half, you kind of forget what it's like to be alone all the time. And you know, I'm never truly alone. I always have my friends that I could hit up at any given moment and talk to them about anything. You know, ask them if they want to hang out and just sit down and talk for a while. You know, I don't really feel the need to anymore. I feel like I'm at the point now where I kind of just need to have some self-reflection, not have any other inputs, you know, nothing like that. I need to sit down and truly focus on myself, and you know, really sit back and think about what makes me happy. You know, a lot of shit that I think about at work has to do with me being happy, or I'll think about my ex and, you know, everything else. But I don't know, man. Just one thing that I can talk about that wasn't even a part of the topics was just the fact that our society, like the United States society as a whole, especially with my generation, is just so fucked up. So fucked up. There's so many things wrong with it. And, you know, growing up, I never thought anything of it. I just, you know, I was pretty dismissive to the fact that we really do have a lot of shitty people in the generation that I was born in. I'm 19, I was born in 2000, and growing up in this time period, there's definitely been their highlights, but there's been some absolute fucking low points to my generation as well. And it's the same with all generations, but ours, I feel like, you know, since we're in the digital age now, we all have these ideologies of we have all these ideas and everything and ways of thinking that by social media and everything else, like when it comes to dating, for example, if we really want to talk about it, like everything is appearance based now. You know, we don't want to ever get to know the person. We want to be attracted to them first. And I'm guilty of it. You know, if I see a cute girl, that's the first thing I notice. I don't notice her personality. If I see a picture, you know, of a cute girl, even if I were to talk to, you know, a cute girl in person, at the end of the day, I don't want to say at the end of the day, but my not initial intention, but my first thing of attraction was their appearance. And, you know, I read something, I don't know, it was probably on one of the Snapchat stories, that women don't look at men and the first thing that they want is is to be attracted to them. And I feel like that may be the case with some, but it's a very rare case, especially nowadays with, again, social media like influencing how people think. And I feel like more than anything, it's more or less that since everything is on the internet nowadays, everyone is so scared of being judged. Like every single person is just terrified of what other people will think. And I feel like that's why in school, you know, you have all the popular kids and everything that don't talk to the, you know, average kids or the loners or, you know, whatever it may be. And it's all because it's society just dictating pretty much who we talk to, how we talk to them, and everything else. And it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. When it comes to the whole attraction thing, especially on the girls' end of things, I feel like a lot of girls end up with guys that they aren't truly happy with, simply because they find them attractive. And what I mean by that is, like, you have to think, if a dude knows he's attractive, a lot of guys are cocky douchebags, and they're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, you're cute and everything, but you're easily replaceable. Like, if you break up with me, it is what it is. I'll just go hit up one of the other 10 girls that hit me up. You know what I mean? And I feel like girls are kind of like that too. And I feel like with everyone being so connected nowadays and being able to just send a message, call, do whatever instantaneously now, I feel like it's kind of caused that to just be a thing. Like, I don't know. I know I'm not the greatest looking dude on this planet, but something I've been telling myself lately, and a lot of people need to realize, just because you may not be the most attractive person in the world, if your appearance, I'd give myself a solid 6.5. Solid 6.5 on appearance. But one thing I've been telling myself lately is, you know what, if these girls, that I've tried talking to, which isn't very many, I don't go out of my way, it's just, girls of mutual friends, or, girls I've talked to in the past, like, not talk to, but, I've had a conversation with. If they really have it in their heads that they're better than me just because they're more, that they're too good for me or anything, I don't care what I am to anyone on an appearance scale. My personality and me being me makes me a fucking 12 out of 10 at the end of the day. And a lot of people need to start having that attitude. A lot of people need to stop feeling like they're worthless and, like, their life isn't as meaningful as the next because they don't have a million fucking likes on Instagram or this or that. And I really feel like society has gotten to that point nowadays where so many fucking people are so quick to judge and, you know, everything else, all because it's like a popularity contest. That's all life seems to be at this point, is a fucking popularity contest. How many likes you get on this, how many views you get on that, this and that or the other. Like, and I feel like that's why so many people are scared to voice their opinions. Like, I've started posting in my Snapchat stories so much more, just the most meaningless shit, but just because I feel like posting it, I do. And the reason being, I don't give a fuck what people think anymore. I'm only 19 and I've realized this. It does not matter what other people's opinions of you are. Because at the end of the day, if it does bother you, do whatever the fuck you can to prove them wrong. Show them that they have the worst misconception of you that they could possibly have. Someone thinks you're lazy, go out and fucking prove them wrong. If someone thinks you're a shitty worker, try your hardest and show them that you're dedicated to trying your ass. If people aren't giving you chances when you feel like you deserve a chance, fuck them. Quit dwelling on the people that aren't going to benefit your life. And that's the honest to God truth. Like, I've been left on red so many times by most of those girls that I hit up, and you know what? It gets me down for a little bit, but in moments like this when I really stop to think about it, it doesn't fucking matter. If they're not willing to give you 30 seconds to send a text back, they're not worth trying to get, to have them around for longer periods of time in your life. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't fucking send a 30-second text and, not give one-word replies and shit, why the fuck am I going to want to have you around for potentially years, months even? It doesn't matter the duration. Like, why the fuck am I going to want to have that person around? And I feel like that's something that people need to realize is, like, stop putting your fucking time into people that could give a shit less about you. And it sounds so blunt and harsh when you say it like that, but it's the reality of the situation. Why the fuck are you going to sit back and dwell and bitch and moan about the people that won't even give you the fucking time of day when you could be doing everything in your power to go and find that person that is down for you like you want to be down for someone else? There's so many fucking people that would commit to a relationship if they just saw the true intentions of the person and realized that they weren't bad. Or not even just that. There's so many people that are ready to settle down because they've never been given a shot to prove that, just because they're not the most attractive people on this planet doesn't mean that they wouldn't stop at anything to try and give you the whole fucking world. And I know that sounds cheesy as fuck. I really don't care. It's the truth. There's so many fucking people that are just looking to have a connection with someone else that isn't their friends or family. But everyone, it seems like, that they go to try and have a conversation with, not even in a romantic type of way or flirty type of way, just a fucking conversation like a normal human being. They aren't even given that chance. And I'll be honest, I'm not even given that chance. So I understand how they feel. It's quite frankly just fucking bullshit. There's no reason that our society should be that fucking twisted and just fucked up. Like, honestly, just fucked up. I get there's always going to be people that are going to run their mouths over anything you give them a reason to. Even if you don't give them a reason, they'll find something to say. And it's that type of mentality that brings people down and makes people fucking depressed. I know what I said about, we're all people, and yes, we are. I know that I said that no one's better than the next person. The reality of it is, yes, we are all people, but there's definitely better fucking people. And I know that I hate that I contradicted myself in, the same video, but it's the truth. There's definitely shitty people in this world that deserve shitty fucking things, especially when they fuck over people that did not deserve what happened to them. And I'm not even just speaking from personal experience, although I most definitely am. It's just the fact of that there are people that will give someone a chance and go and fuck everything up just because they think they'll be happier without them, and at the end of the day, they will realize that they fucked up. And that's the story with me. That's the story with a lot of fucking people. Friendships, relationships, families, whatever it is. So many people have this fucked up concept in their head that, you know, no matter how good things are with that person, no matter how good they treat them, you know, and again, this isn't just me talking about, you know, my experience with my ex. I'm talking about people in relationships, friendships, you know, family situations, like I just said, like just anything like that. So many people are so quick to worry about themselves and completely drop the good people that they have in their lives just because they don't feel like they're benefiting enough. And it just goes to show that so many fucking people are so damn selfish nowadays and so fucking conceited and feel like they deserve so much when they do so damn little. And that's why so many people are unhappy. You know, and like I said earlier in this podcast, whatever the fuck you want to call it, type video, this ramble, you know, I'm doing everything I can to figure out what makes me happy. And, you know, there's temporary stuff like drinking, smoking my CBD flower and all that. It definitely boosts my mood, but it's not other than the CBD flower, I couldn't drink every day. No matter how down I am, no matter how much I want to drink, I could not drink every day. There's no point to it. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. But, you know, there's temporary things that can make me happy, and then I'm still looking to figure out what will make me happy in the long term without feeling like I need to be with someone and like I need to have a connection with someone. No matter how great it is, it's fucking fantastic when you're in love with someone. But look what can happen. Over the dumbest fucking shit, it can all end in the blink of an eye. You know, no matter how great you think things are going or whatever. And same with friendships, and again, families even. You know, you could feel it on with your mom, dad, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, cousin, whatever. And at the end of the day, it's not they don't give a fuck about you, but you're not their you're not their priority like you should be. And again, it all goes back to wasting your time on people that aren't worth your fucking time. We all have a finite amount of time on this planet, and we never know when our clock's gonna be up. You know, we could either die of old age, die of cancer, fucking get hit by a car tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Like, we could walk into a fucking gas station no matter where you live and someone pull a gun and shoot you. Like, it's that fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, life happens. Life fucking happens. There's no way around it. And why are we going to spend our time dwelling on shit that can't happen and, you know, not worry about the shit that can actually fucking happen? You know, there's a lot of people are, oh, I'm not happy financially. Get the fuck up and go do something about it. I make decent money. It's not like, you know, I'm rich as fuck, but I make decent money, but I do harder work. You have to be willing to put in the work to make fucking gains, and it's the truth. You know, at the end of the day, that's how fucking life is played. You don't sit back and do the bare minimum and expect more. If you do the bare minimum, you're going to get the bare minimum out of life. If you do more, you'll get more out of life. And I'm fucking 19 and realize this. And there's people in their 30s that still haven't figured that shit out. But my dad's home now, so I'm going to have to be quiet. So I am just going to cut this short. I hope you guys enjoyed this first rendition, or however the fuck you want to say it, of the podcast. And yeah, thank you all so much for listening. And I will hopefully make another one of these soon.